Okay, so before we begin, do hit the subscribe button. If you like these types of videos, please like and leave your comments down below. Okay, so let's start off by talking about the cost. Now, Jenkins, as we know, is an open source tool, which means it's free. However, you would need to host Jenkins, yeah, on a server, and this costs money. On the other hand, Azure DevOps is free for open source projects and small projects, but only for up to 5 users. So for larger teams, Visual Studios and MSDN members who bring their own license, the costs range from $30 per month for 10 users to 6,150 per month for 1,000 users. Therefore, if you have a small team with a small project or invite MSDN members to contribute, then Azure DevOps might be your answer here. Number two, maintenance. Since Jenkins would be held upon an instance, you would need to be responsible for maintaining the machine. In other words, if your team is in the middle of running deployments to production and the machine hosting Jenkins was to go down, then you would need to have mechanisms in place to mitigate deployments being blocked. CI/CD as a service, so Azure DevOps here, on the other hand, is maintained by the provider. As a consequence, the chances of its service going down is rare, as they would have many procedures in place to ensure high availability. 3. Performance. The performance for running Jenkins on a dedicated machine really depends on the machine specs and the connectivity. Sometimes the interface may lag and you may find yourself waiting to click on the build button. Jenkins workers are also deployed on owned infrastructure, and there is a cost associated. Azure DevOps, on the other hand, runs on scaling infrastructure and therefore does not have this issue. 4. Configuring pipeline scripts. Now, since Azure DevOps allows easy connection to other tools such as Terraform, or .NET, it provides simple mechanisms to configure pipelines as a code without having to type a word of YAML. There is a massive online marketplace providing thousands of plugins and tools for this purpose. For instance, you could configure a YAML file to deploy your Terraform code automatically by just accessing the Azure DevOps GUI to auto-populate code such as run Terraform init, plan, and apply. Jenkins UI, however, is very outdated. Therefore, you would not be able to perform such a task, and this task is great, especially if you are new to writing pipelines using code and just want to get the automation going. And number 5, analytics. Unlike Jenkins, Azure DevOps provides granular analytics at the end of each run, with parameters like rate and duration. This feature is helpful to identify ways to increase the performance of deployment runs. It is also beneficial when creating project deployment runbooks, as this would provide more accurate predictions for deploying infrastructure to production within a time window. Now, obviously, there are many other points that we could cover, but these are 5 of the main points that I felt that were really important. And if you think there are some other points that you think are worth mentioning, then yeah, mention them in the comments below. So in summary, I would say Jenkins is still an option most clients go for, and it depends on your project requirements really and your team size. If you want to manage your builds and deployments privately within your physical infrastructure, Jenkins is the way to go. However, if you have a small team and you want to start building and deploying your code quickly, then Azure DevOps is a tool I would definitely suggest for you guys to adopt.